Welcome back to LBG Reviews. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Today we'll be talking about Isles of Sea and Sky, a metroidvania game that's also a puzzle game about pushing boxes around and trying to solve puzzles to gather the game's various collectibles and power-ups. The game sees you take on the role of a nameless castaway who washes up on the beach of an island and has to solve puzzles in order to gather the game's various collectibles to be able to awaken 4 different gods on 4 different islands, as well as acquiring numerous power-ups along the way to open up a temple that I have no idea what awaits on the other side because I haven't beaten the game yet. The game is very enjoyable. It is very, the puzzles are head-scratching a lot of the times, especially when you don't have access to a lot of the tools in the game. Like, as an example, one of the earlier islands you go to, I believe it's called Stony Cliffs or something like that. Once you've gathered up enough gemstones on that island, the god on that island, once you go back to his little screen at the top middle of the screen, he will awaken earth elementals throughout the game world that you can use to solve puzzles. And so there are numerous puzzles that you may encounter as you're trying to navigate the Stony Hills Island that initially they seem impossible to complete, but once you gain access to the earth elementals, it's like, oh, that's why I couldn't do that yet. And likewise, a lot of content is also locked behind getting a certain number of stars, which you have to solve puzzles in order to acquire, or even sometimes it's just more about navigating to them. The game feels reminiscent in a lot of ways to old school NES games to me. The art style is very reminiscent of that, as well as some of the sound design, and also just in the lack of direction, I guess. Because, there were a lot of NES games where, yeah, if you had the manual for the game, you'd be able to know more of what you're doing. But if you didn't have the manual, if you didn't have a strategy guide, it was up to you to figure out, okay, what do I do, you know? The game is also full of a bunch of secrets to find and figure out. Each of the main islands has an instrument on it. The Stony Cliffs Island has a marimba or a xylophone almost. And basically, on each island you can gather up music notes for each of the instruments. And then when you have all of them and you go back to that instrument, as long as you have the means to be able to play the instrument, like as an example on the Stony Cliffs Island, you need the earth elementals unlocked in order to be able to play the instrument. But so if you have all of the earth elementals available, and if you have all the music notes, you can then use each of them to figure out which note corresponds to which symbol, and then you have to match up the symbols to fill in the gaps in a stone tablet in the center of the room. And in doing so, you get a few stars, and another secret of it becomes available. And trying to figure out all those secrets on all of the islands is just a lot of fun. You'll see as I explore in this video, you'll notice that there are some stone blocks that seem initially not relevant at all, but then as I continue to explore, you'll notice that wait a minute, there's 4 blocks there, there's 4 blocks over here, 4 blocks over here, and then in a cave there's those same 4 blocks in front of a door, and then that actually leads to its own set of puzzles and challenges. In terms of accessibility features, the game doesn't really have any, and that is both a good thing and a bad thing. The same can be said about the lack of direction that the game provides you as well. Like, on the one hand, it's nice because like the game is fairly simple to wrap your head around, at least initially, and so like you don't really, and like the game is mostly based off of like movement. Like yes, there is a keybind to undo your last move and to check the map, but otherwise pushing and interacting with blocks, it's done with the same thing as the movement. So like in a lot of ways, it doesn't need as much accessibility features as a lot of other games. But in other ways, it's also initially very confusing to wrap your head around, you know? And that's really all I've got to say about it. Like, it's just one of those games that I really had a fun time with. Like, there were times playing this game that, like, I would be looking at a puzzle, I'd be working through it, trying to wrap my head around what I need to do to, like, get the keys, get the gemstones, get the stars, or the other items available. And then, like, I would figure it out, and then I would look at my phone to see what time it was, and it's like, I have spent 2 hours here, and I have made this little bit of progress, but it feels so good to do it. So honestly, if you enjoy puzzle games, if you enjoy metroidvanias as well, try out Isles of Sea and Sky. It's a really fun game. But that's all I've got to say about it, so tune in next week when we talk about Animal Well. It's a game that has gone viral a few weeks back for all of the secrets and just like its unique atmosphere, art style, and like a bunch of other accolades have been given to it. And I had a lot of fun playing it as well. So, see you guys then. Bye.